said yes. I volunteered to do anything and everything extra that I could. When we would have a guest speaker at the office, I would raise my hand and ask a thoughtful question. I wanted that speaker to remember me. As an example, our training program was asked a question about how do we know whether our sources for information are accurate. I raised my hand and answered. You have to be very careful because, interestingly enough, the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal had both written about Apple stock that day, and they had opposite opinions. Wall Street Journal said to sell Apple, and the Times said it was a buy. In addition, Barron's over the weekend talked about how it was the company to watch. I remember my class's reaction. Some clapped, some smiled, some smirked. I guess the fact that I read 2 newspapers before our 6:30 a.m. training program started, and I was reading Barron's on the weekends, showed my dedication to getting ahead. I started my 2-year analyst program at Goldman Sachs in 1997 with 88 people, and there are 4 of us left today. The most amazing acknowledgement of my hard work came at the end of my 2-year analyst program when our business leader said to me, "You will be a vice president at Goldman Sachs. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when." At that point, I knew I had achieved my goals of making myself stand out. I always kept in mind the question, how can I add value to my family? How can I add value to the team in my company? How can I contribute? So my first lesson to share with you today is, don't be afraid to stand out and make yourself known. And always look for ways to add value. My second lesson of today is the importance of mentors. You should think of it like a board of directors. Choose different people with diverse backgrounds at different levels that you can go to for advice. You can gain great insight early on in your careers from mentors, so you should actively recruit people who you admire. When I met someone that I thought would be a good mentor, I would approach them and ask them to be my mentor, rather than waiting for one to be assigned. Once they said yes, they had officially taken on this responsibility. I knew I could call upon these people and they would be there for me. My mentors at Goldman Sachs have been instrumental in my success. They all took ownership of me, had invested in me, and wanted to see me succeed. So my lesson here is, be direct and seek out mentors to support you. I've also learned the importance of hard work. While a strong resume helps get me in the door, hard work kept me there. I've learned that when you want something, you have to work hard for it. There are no substitutes and no shortcuts. As you all discover new career opportunities in your future, your success will largely be determined by your personal commitment. And I was fortunate enough to learn a lot about success from a really amazing source, Duncan Niederauer, the current CEO of the New York Stock Exchange, my former boss at Goldman Sachs of 8 years, and my first official mentor. Duncan is a great leader. He's extremely dedicated, extremely hardworking, and quite adept at spotting opportunities. I would say his intensity made it difficult for many people working under him. But what I discovered was that if you worked hard for him, Duncan was incredibly loyal and your biggest supporter. You would get back from him as much as he expected you to give. And so I learned how hard work is rewarded with loyalty and support. I also spoke earlier about innovation and how our world is constantly changing. Working with Duncan, I had the opportunity to witness a true visionary, a man who looked at the future and was able to actualize on it. When I graduated 12 years ago, people didn't know what hedge funds are, and trading stocks electronically did not exist. Oh, how far we've come with virtually all trading being done electronically. When I started working for Duncan, I watched him build an electronic trading business from scratch. He understood that trading electronically and linking buyers and sellers directly was clearly superior to dealing with the middleman. Duncan also noticed the proliferation of hedge funds and how many of these hedge funds wanted to trade electronically. To capitalize on these trends, Duncan created the most comprehensive trading business on Wall Street. And I was very fortunate to be able to participate in this process. And I'm still amazed that I am a vice president in a major department of Goldman Sachs that did not exist when I was in college. So I'm rising from a first-year analyst to a vice president. I've learned to make myself known, team. Seek out mentors, be direct, and how hard work will help you achieve your goals. I've also learned from great innovators like Duncan how to think about the future and create opportunities from it. I've shared some things that may help you achieve success, and now I'd like to talk for a moment about the responsibilities that come with that success. In many ways, your parents are handing over the reins to our country to you. You will be the stewards of our economy and all of its various industries and companies. As I look out in the room, I know that many of you will be quite successful in your professional lives. Many of you will be managers at companies, possibly even CEOs, or perhaps you'll start your own businesses and have your own employees. You will all hopefully realize how your actions affect numerous others. I realize every day that my actions and decisions affect my sales team, my company, my customers, and my family. You, the class of 2009, are going to be given responsibilities you could only imagine. Constantly aim to take the high road and use sound moral judgment. And your journey begins today. Your new chapter of your lives begins here and now. In closing, there is one last piece of advice that I'd like to leave you with. Jim Rogers, a Wall Street legend, once said, "I didn't get rich to buy things. I got rich to buy my freedom." For Jim, freedom was riding a motorcycle around the world, which landed him in the Guinness Book of World Records. All of you are graduating from this fine university and will enter the workforce in many ways to pay your dues to society. You'll be working to regain the personal freedom you've experienced here in college. How you define freedom is really up to you. I think the best definition of freedom comes from Steve Jobs of Apple, who said, "I look in the mirror every day and ask myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do?" And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. I believe that freedom is the ability to make these changes in your lives. I welcome you to define what freedom is to you, write it down now, and set realistic goals and how to achieve it. I can only assure you that the harder you work, the more you save, and the greater the sacrifices you make early in life, the more quickly you will realize your dreams and accomplish your own personal definition of freedom. You've all clearly made excellent decisions thus far in your life, as today you receive a diploma from Binghamton University. We are here today in celebration of your accomplishments and recognition of your achievements. You are graduating from one of the finest universities in the country, and you should all feel incredibly proud to be sitting here today. It's amazing to think of what your future holds as you enter a truly dynamic time for our country. It's equally amazing to think that all your future accomplishments and successes will only solidify the reputation of Binghamton University. Binghamton University stands to gain greatly from what you accomplish in the next chapter of your lives. Remember, whatever the economy, whatever the circumstances, you are the future leaders, you possess the tools, and you have the education. Today you go forth to innovate, create, lead, and give back. I wish all of you every success in every endeavor. Thank you.
Tracy, for your insightful remarks. As a small token of our appreciation, I would like to present to you this plaque. It says, the School of Management Alumna of the Year Award, presented to Tracy Caliendo.